What's up, guys? Welcome back to Daddy Dimes Radio. Today we're going to be starting off with a little World Series, the first two-game recap.
Yeah, so game one, each team scored 5 runs on the opposing starting pitchers, with the Astros going up 5-0, and then the Phillies coming back to tie it 5-5 in about the 5th inning, I think. And then in the 10th, the Phillies got a run in to take game one 6-5. But then the Astros bounced back with a 5-2 win, scoring 3 in the first and getting up on a 5-0 lead again by scoring later in the 5th. Phillies tried to come back, but could not. Final score is 5-2. And game 3, I think, is going to be tomorrow. So, Levi, what are your predictions for the rest of the series?
I think the Astros are going to win game 3, but then the Phillies are going to win game 4, and then the Astros are going to win game 5.
And then game 6?
Astros.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I actually agree with that exact pattern that you have there. Astros in 6 with that exact pattern is, I think, a good pick right now. So let's go ahead and move on from MLB for now. Get into NBA because our weekly recap is back with the NBA season in full swing now. The Pelicans stay hot early on here despite some key injuries to guys like Brandon Ingram and Zion, some minor injuries, not long-term. And Zion's been great since he got back. But Pelicans beat the Mavs 113-111.
Clay earns his first career ejection in a blowout loss to the Suns.
Yeah, I got into a little heated argument with Devin Booker. 43-point performance from Giannis leads the Bucks to the win over the Nets. Ben Simmons continues to struggle there, though Kyrie Irving has been incredible, and so has KD.
The Knicks beat the Hornets by 3, and they are led by another strong performance from Jalen Brunson.
The Nuggets easily beat the Lakers to give LeBron his first 0-4 start in his career.
Luka's triple-double helps the Mavs beat the Nets in overtime despite Kyrie's efforts.
Yeah, Luka, we'll talk more about him in a second. He's been great, although so is Kyrie, but he just wasn't enough this game. Surprising one here, Karis LeVert drops 41 points in the Cavs' overtime win over the Celtics to give them their first loss.
Despite losing to his former team, the Spurs, DeMar DeRozan becomes the 50th player ever with 20,000 career points.
Yeah, that surprised me when I saw that headline. DeMar DeRozan now one of the top 50 scorers all time in the NBA. Pretty crazy to think about kind of how long he's been in the league now and how productive he's been every year. And after starting 0-3, our Thunder have won 3 in a row, with the third one being a couple nights ago with the overtime win against the Mavs. SGA has been incredible, but of course we're still kind of mourning the loss of Chet after he was announced out for the season.
The Jazz knock off the Grizzlies by 1 on Malik Beasley's clutch 3.
Yeah, Jazz, very surprising so far, sitting at 5-2 when I thought they'd be competing with the Spurs for the worst team in the NBA, which if you're a Jazz fan, you're happy to see the wins, but you also don't like it because you're not going to be able to get Victor Wembanyama if you keep up on this rate. The Hornets upset the Warriors in overtime to finish off our recap. Warriors, they still have a winning record, but they have not been as tremendous as last year so far, although the Draymond Poole incident seems to not have made any kind of impact. But now we're going to get into the top 3 way too early NBA MVPs so far. At number 1 right now, I've got Luka Doncic, who was my MVP pick before the season started. I think I said that a couple episodes ago. So that's looking really like a really good pick right now. Then Giannis, of course, always in the running, is my number 2 right now. And then Jason Tatum up there at top 3 with close competition from guys like Ja Morant and Kyrie Irving. And And then Levi, who do you think are the top 3 rookies so far? And of course, one of the best draft classes we've had in a long time.
I think at number 1 is Matherin. Number 2 is going to be Paulo Banchero. And then number 3 is going to be Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, it's a solid list. Most surprising one is probably Matherin. Though we did know he was kind of NBA ready. Which of those 3, or I guess somebody else, who do you think is going to win Rookie of the Year?
I think Banchero is going to win Rookie of the Year.
All right, and let's move on to college football here. We got just a quick note here from our K-State Wildcats, who dominated Oklahoma State yesterday, which pretty much nobody saw coming. 48-0 for the team's biggest win since 2015, and it shoots their AP ranking up from 22 ranked to 13 ranked.
The Wildcats are now 6-2 with losses to undefeated 7th ranked TCU and 7-1 19th ranked Tulane.
Then let's go ahead and get into NFL to recap some of today's games and see what's happening in the Bills versus Packers right now. So obviously the craziest game of today so far was probably Panthers versus Falcons, which I think the final score was 34-31. 37-34 in overtime. If you guys didn't see, Falcons win up by 6 by kicking a field goal. And then P.J. Walker threw a 62-yard touchdown pass to DJ Moore, who made the diving catch in the end zone as time, I think it went down to 12 seconds. But then DJ Moore took off his helmet while celebrating, causing an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, moving the extra point back 15 yards, which caused their kicker to miss, sending it to overtime, where the Falcons would win after another missed field goal from the Panthers, and then the Falcons made a field goal. Great game from Dante Foreman for the Panthers on the ground, though. 118 yards and 3 touchdowns for him. And then we'll just get into some other games here.
The Dolphins beat the Lions 31-27, closer to the game than a lot of us probably expected.
Yeah, but Dolphins remain undefeated when Tua has played the whole game, and they are 5-3 right now, looking to be one of the strong contenders, which we all knew they'd improve a lot, but I didn't see this much. And the Vikings beat the Cardinals 34-26 in a thriller game to remain a one-loss team, sitting at 6-1. DeAndre Hopkins did have a great game, though, starting to get back to his old form after the suspension.
The Commanders win by 17-16 over the Colts. Tight game there.
Yeah, if you didn't see, Taylor Heineke had a QB rush at the end of the game to take the lead with about probably like 45 seconds left. And then Sam Ehlinger, who got the start over Matt Ryan and played really well in his first NFL start, do a pass to about probably the 45-yard line on the first play to Michael Pittman on what would have set them up to be in a game-winning field goal range after a couple more plays. But Pittman drops it, and the Colts aren't able to get much more after that.
The Rams lose to the 49ers 31-14.
McCaffrey got a rushing touchdown. He had a receiving touchdown, and he threw a 35-yard touchdown to Brandon Ayuk, who had a great day today with Deebo Samuel out. And the 49ers really put a beating on the Rams. What are your thoughts on the Rams continuing to struggle?
I think that they are not going to make the playoffs and are just going to be just like out of question for it this year, but may come back next year.
In the morning game in London, Broncos got the 21-17 victory over the Jaguars, despite Travis Etienne having a big game after they traded away James Robinson, but just wasn't quite enough to get the Jags to win. Trevor Lawrence had some interceptions at the worst times.
The Cowboys beat the Bears 49-29.
Yeah, that was a really disappointing performance, honestly, from the Cowboys defense, but their offense really got the job done, led by Tony Pollard, getting a lot of the work with Zeke Elliott out. And the Saints surprised us all with the 24-0 shutout against the Raiders. Really bad if you had Josh Jacobs, who has been one of the best fantasy players so far, only had 6 points today.
The Patriots beat the Jets 22-17.
Yeah, the loss of Breece Hall really hurts. Maybe James Robinson can continue to adapt to the offense, but Zach Wilson can't be throwing 3 interceptions every game. Eagles stay undefeated with a dominant victory over the Steelers. Pretty much everybody saw that coming, but what you might not have seen coming was A.J. Brown's 3 receiving touchdowns for the Eagles.
The Titans beat the Texans 17-10, with Derrick Henry setting a Titans franchise record for the most touchdowns.
Yeah, and Titans started off 0-2, but have won 5 straight to give them what, if the playoffs started today, would be the number 2 seed in the AFC, ahead of teams like the Chiefs. And Seahawks gave the Giants their second loss this season, winning 27-13. And the Seahawks are the best team record-wise in their division. Absolutely nobody saw that coming. Very crazy. And then from Thursday night,
the Ravens beat the Buccaneers 27-22.
Yeah, another really good team like the Rams and the Packers that's been struggling this year. What do you think the Bucs can do to fix their problems?
I think they need to just get a good team, and then that'll really help.
I mean, they have a good team, though. Like, there's talent. They have the greatest NFL player of all time. I don't care how old he is. He's still the greatest player of all time. I would say what's been most disappointing is their defense. But they did play better this week. Obviously, the Ravens are a good team. It's not like losing to the Panthers, especially with a third-string quarterback Panthers, especially non-Christian McCaffrey Panthers. But anyways, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Well, actually, real quick, let me check the Bills-Packers score here. And it looks like it's still 0-0 with 7 minutes to go in the first. Bills got the ball, but we're going to go ahead and go watch that game. So we'll see you guys.